George Polya once said, thus, a teacher of mathematics has a great opportunity. If he fills his allotted time with drilling his students in routine operations, he kills their interest, hampers their intellectual development, and misuses his opportunity. But if he challenges the curiosity of his students by setting them problems proportionate to their knowledge and helps them to solve their problems with stimulating questions, he may give them a taste for and some means of independent thinking. The biggest question in math education today is not what we're teaching, but how we're teaching it. Consider the following real-world math application problem. You have two cylindrical candles with different dimensions. How can you determine which candle took more wax to make? In example 2, you will find out by finding their volumes. Interesting, right? And convenient too. On one page, we have this really interesting question about candles and how much wax they require, and on the opposing page, we have a formula box and the answer laid out for us. It's kind of like knowing the ending to a book before you've even read it. If problem solving means students are able to accurately communicate their thinking, apply reasoning skills, make connections to prior knowledge, and understand complexities in various forms, then helping students achieve the skills necessary is going to require more than asking them to open a book and solve a problem. It's going to require an instructional redesign. A design that engages learners beyond memorization and computation, that takes them from passive to active. That stimulates higher order thinking and collaboration. Act 1 involves learners in the formulation of the problem. It should strike them right in the curiosity bone.
While you were frozen, we began a program to clone you.
Cindy the clone!
He is exactly like you in every way. Except 1/8 your size.
I shall call him Mini-Me.
The students should share what they're curious about, and the class should come to a consensus about what the problem actually is. The problem I'm going to consider is which pop can has more pop. Act 2 is where the protagonist overcomes obstacles, looks for resources, and develops new tools. Before he resolves his largest conflict, Luke Skywalker resolves a lot of smaller ones. He finds a pilot, finds a ship, finds the princess, gets the Death Star plans back to the rebellion, etc. He builds a team. He develops new skills. So as with your second act, what resources will your students need before they can resolve their conflict? What tools do they have already? What tools can you help them develop? Once students identify which measurements and formulas they need, you can provide them with the information. Giving them numbers will save time and create consistency. I'm not checking whether or not they know how to measure the can, but whether they can apply the formula and identify which formula to use. The third act pays off the hard work of Act 2 and the motivation of Act 1. But presentation is everything. We don't want to just show the answer. It would kill the ending. For example, imagine that Luke fired his last shot, and instead of watching the Death Star explode, we cut to a scene inside the rebellion room. No explosion, just one of the commanders explaining that the mission was a success. That's what it's like for students to encounter the resolution of their conflict in the back of the teacher's edition of the textbook.
3-calorie mini can is a great way for people to enjoy the taste of Coca-Cola that they love while still managing their calorie intake.
Remember Vader spinning off into the distance, hurtling off to set the stage for The Empire Strikes Back? You need to be Vader. Make sure you have extension problems set up and ready for students as they finish. Together as a class, we reflected on this 3X math lesson to decide whether we believe shoppers are being deceived. Then, we separated and became packaging engineers. By transforming the way we teach, we are able to help learners become more creative problem solvers, better communicators, and lifelong learners. And such changes are the first steps towards teaching or understanding.